Bought a 3-in-1 photo converter that converts slides or pictures to digital photographs. There's almost 100 slides per carousel. This one's missing probably about 5. The first thing I did is I read the instructions, which basically said, long story short, is just load the dang CD on the computer. I loaded mine up through the CD drive, popped it out, popped it in, answered a couple of questions they told me to do. Converter box here, and there's a couple things you have to know. One is you have a switch on the top that says negatives or slides. Then you have another switch on the back part here that also says negative and slides or photos. It is also on the slide side. Then I plugged the USB cable into the back of the computer. First I want to go to my photos on the computer, go to my pictures, and then I have a basic slide grouping in a folder, and I go down to it, and it's called Slide Picks. That's where I'm putting all my slides. Open it up, and then I want to make a new folder because this is going to be a new start, and I'm going to name that what the carousel is going to be called. This one's going to be called Jill's European Trip 3. Okay, now on my desktop I'm going to open up the Blaze Photo 2.0 icon, which they've given me. Then the next thing I'm going to do is go over to where it says Get Photo up in the top left. I'm going to click on the Get Photo, and then it's going to ask me Acquire from Film Scanner. I'm going to click on that because that is what this box is called. And I get this little window here. And what it's asking me to, and I'm going to save the folders in my picture slide file under Jill's, but I got to hit this little button and go down to a new Jill's folder file, and it's Jill's European Trip 3 is the one I'm using. Click on that. That tells me that's where it's going to go to. Hit OK. The default thing is negatives. It's going to always come up to this negative button here. So I'm going to change that over to slides because that's what I'm actually working with. And then it's going to ask me to open brightness manual control box. This way I can change the brightness of the slides as I'm converting them. So yes, I want that box out. And then I come out and hit OK. And then I want to move this box out of the way over to the side. So just drag it out of the way over like this so I can see it. This is the one for slides. I can load 3 slides at a time, so you can hold it and then I just push it like that, opens it up. There's a little arrow here that lets you know the directions the slides that go into the box. I take my slides, I hold them up to the screen so I can see which side they're on. Most of them have a date, and the way they go in this thing is exactly as if you were going to look at them through a light. And you can see the picture actually is a portrait instead of a landscape. But when you put them in here, I've made the mistake. These only go, if you put them in straight like this, and you label them in, they're going to crop the top and bottom off by accident. So no matter how the slide is, always got to put it in as a landscape slide. You can rotate them at another time. So I'm going to put them all in like this. See which direction they are. The date is on this one on the outside, so it goes into the slide case like this. So you want to make sure you push them flat. There's these little ridges on the sides, and it's a tight fit to get them to fit in there, and some of the slides are different. This is a smaller one, and I just stick it in like so into this thing. Then you want to just close it down and snap it in place. If it doesn't snap, it usually means there's something not exactly in the right spot, and you can kind of tweak these around a little bit so that it completely closes. The whole thing slides into the side over here. The whole tray, once it's closed with the arrow, it only goes in one direction. So you slide it in until it stops. There's like little notches on the top, and it stops. And it will give you a picture on your screen. Okay, you have your choices over here. This is a light box. In most cases, the auto is too bright. And you can see the picture's a little bit washed out. It's a little bit bright. Most of the pictures I do, I come back to the manual thing, and I move it up to you see now that the picture is obviously too dark, and if I go up one level here to lighter, take most of my pictures in the dark level 0, which is the lightest of the things. If I went dark 2, you can see that it's considerably darker. Then once I get the picture in there, I hit the capture button, which is this one right here. Capture. And it puts the picture in this window here and also up there. That lets me know that it's gone and it's been captured. Then I go over to my slide box, slide it over to the next notch. And now I have a new picture in this window here. Notice it's not over here yet. And then I go to the capture button again and I hit capture. And it puts the picture there and there. Before I slide the thing, I want to make sure the picture shows up in those other windows. Now I go to the next one. Now if you slide it too soon, the picture will become blurry in here as you capture it. So you want to make sure the picture is locked here before you slide it. Now this picture is completely upside down, but I don't care. It's good enough for now. And so I'm going to go ahead and capture this one also. And you are allowed to capture up to 12 pictures before you you save any of them. So they're all going on this film strip up at the top. And there's 12 slots in it. Now on the converter here, you always want to slide it from this side, from the right going through to the left, and it will stop at each slot. As it does, you can actually feel it kind of lock in there for each one. Okay, there's little notches. And once you get that done, you've had your 3 slides loaded. You pop it open again. Take your slides out. Then I load my next 3. It all locks down. See, this one here has a little bit of the white in the way. I can slide it over and lock it, make sure they're all centered on the pictures. Slide the next 3 in one at a time, stop on the first one. This one is a sail, it's a white sail. It's kind of maybe a little on the too light side, so I'll see what it looks like on a darker mode. That looks a lot better, so I'm going to capture that one a little bit on the darker mode. Slide it back in. I'm sure it. Slide the tape over one more time. And go to the capture button, click that. And the picture transfers over, which it has. Then I can pull the slide out. And then hit around so they fit right. Capture. You can tweak them just a little bit. Sometimes they're pushed in a little too far, and you can adjust them maybe 1/8 of an inch to get them centered on the picture, so you don't have to come back and crop them later. Now that I have all 12 filled up, I go to the save button down here, hit save, and it goes through and saves each picture, saving picture 2, saving picture 3. I'm going to do that through all 12 of them. Now that all 12 have been saved, they're still on there, you can go right to sliding the next picture in and hit capture. When I hit capture here, it's going to automatically capture to the front top. These have already been saved. If I hadn't saved them, it would tell me they haven't been saved and it won't let me insert the next caption in. Some of these just don't seem to want to fit right. Now I'm all done with the carousel, but I can save this anytime. Even though it's not full, it would just save. Now after this is over with, I X out of it, and then the pictures will all pop up on a preview here. I can edit them a little bit here, but the quality of the editing is very bad and it takes a little bit of trouble. So I'm just going to skip it since I have Photoshop on that thing and go right to the other. If I just hit preview here, it will pop up. Well, this thing freezes a lot, and it's probably freezing right now, which says non-responding. Now I'm non-responding, so, and usually it just messes up and goes to bad, so I'm just going to exit out. It's not going to let me do it. I have to go to close program, and this happens a lot on this program, so I generally don't even want to use it. Your editing tools on your computer itself is usually better than this one is anyway. And then what I go back to my pictures, find the album I just loaded, which is under slide picture, and that was Jill Europe 3, I think. 3. And then in this situation I can turn the pictures by just simply right clicking on the picture, go down to rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. This one's counterclockwise, flips it back correctly. This one over here is upside down, so I just hit it 2 times in any of the things and it switches around to where it's supposed to go. And scroll down for more pictures that need to be rotated.